It's your boy, the one, Joey V.
This is Boss Dog Cigars.
This is Quentin Moore chilling in the Cigar Lounge. Have a drink with your boys and tune in. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to CLP. It's me, your local hero, here with my co-host.
B1, aka the Altar. Bring your problems to me.
Bring your problems the fuck over there. All right, anyway, we're here with a special guest. I want to thank this man for sending me some of his cigars right now. I am smoking the Barber Pole Toro. Pretty good. Y'all ass out and get his goddamn cigars. You know what? I don't think we, hold on. I think it's a YouTube rule. We're not being monetized anyway. It don't matter. So anyway, name of cigar brand. Every day is cigar day. What's up? How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me here. Doing well.
Okay, so what? Let's get before the business. What got you into cigars to begin with? Well, hold on. I keep forgetting to do. I always do this. Before we even get into the conversation, what are you smoking? What are you drinking?
What am I smoking? What am I drinking? Well, I'm actually smoking. Well, finishing off one of our specials that we made for Union League of Philadelphia. That's I don't know if you know. It's a private members club in Philly. We did a 160th anniversary cigar for them. So it's one of them. Yeah, it's basically the leftovers from the project.
Okay.
And it's awesome. I've got another one lined up once this finishes, and then I'm off the juice. So I'm just having some Nicaraguan coffee.
Okay. Fancy. B1, what you got over there?
Well, like I told you before we started, it's too humid for me right now. So, I just got my new Glarus Spotted Cow, straight from Wisconsin, only place you can get it. And I actually think it was funny because, people don't know we were talking before this. And you brought up the fact that I said it was too hot to smoke. And I didn't really think about it at the time that we're talking to every day is a cigar day.
It is actually hot here as well in Nicaragua. It's really, really hot today.
So, see? The name of his cigar made you a fucking liar, all right? You're a liar.
That it did. I was proven wrong.
You're a liar. I'm smoking one of his cigars. I got the Barber Pole, and I'm drinking on this Wellet pot still. So, let's get into the episode. Now we get into it. Now it's official. We get all the officiaries out the way. What got you into cigars? Like, what was your first cigar experience?
Well, believe it or not, actually, I've smoked my very first cigar in 2018. Oh, so that's not that long ago. But yeah, I mean that's where every day a cigar day was born. I mean, started in 2018. I was invited to. I lived in London at the time. And I was in completely different business. I used to work in a hotel. So I used to be a concierge. So I used to work in the 4 or 5 star hotels. And then, I was invited to one of the cigar tasting events in London, and it just completely blew me away. The whole experience, the smoking a cigar, the taste of it, and I was a cigarette smoker before, so I knew the taste of the tobacco, and I loved it. But I mean, I actually quit smoking, and then I was a bit reluctant to start cigars again because I thought I'm going to pick up cigarettes again. Mm-hmm. But it didn't really happen. I mean, the whole experience is just it was just so incredible. I was just amazed how for that many years in my life I never tried one. Mm-hmm. And and that event, it just completely changed my life. After that event, I was kind of a month later, I came back to another event just to kind of see what it's like. Is it the same? And it was even better. And from there, it just kind of started. I was already kind of. I was going through a lot of shit in life at that given time, and I was kind of getting tired of my old job. It was just way too how should I say it? It was just I wasn't doing much concierge anymore. Once you step into management roles, and then it just kind of I fell out of love with it, and I needed something new, and I finally found something that I kind of became really passionate about. So I kind of set my mind to it that, this is something I want to pursue. And then, I've set myself a timeline. I said in 2 years time from there, and then, I'm going to be in the cigar business. I didn't know how, where, and when, and, but I said, listen, within 2 years, I got to put my mind to it. And then, just get into it. Okay. And it kind of snowballed from there. During that time, I've met a good friend of mine now. He's a managing director for Davidoff UK, Roy Sommer. We kind of hit it off at one of his events really, really quickly, because he used to manage hotels before. He used to be a hotel manager, so we kind of had a lot of people in common. We came from the same industry, so for us it was really, really easy to talk, and so we became friends. And then he actually in 2020 he was organizing a trip to Nicaragua. So he actually invited me on that trip, which at that moment I was kind of trying to find out everything there is to know about the tobacco, and Cuba was the first place I really wanted to go to, but because I didn't know much about the tobacco and about all the countries they come from. And then I looked kind of in Nicaragua, and I said, you know what? Well, if it's not Cuba, then yeah, fuck it. Let's do Nicaragua. So we went to Nicaragua. We spent 11 days, traveling around. We visited 5 cities here in Nicaragua. We visited coffee farms and tobacco factories here in Esteli, and we've gone around and met some important people on the trip, and it kind of that trip was just a reassurance that whatever I'm chasing, it's the right thing I'm doing, because I just it was so magical to be here in Nicaragua, seeing firsthand where the tobacco is cultivated, where the cigars are made, and this is where we've got to spend time at the Plasencia factory. You spend the full day, got to ride Nestor's horses and saw the full operation and how he does it, and it was just life changing. Mm-hmm. And from there on, got back to London after the trip, and the first lockdown happened. 8 months of sitting at home, and it's just, it was a terrible time for everyone. But towards the end and on the trip, this is where I've actually met my business partner. His name is Paul. Okay. We met on the same trip, and while we were back in London after the first lockdown, I've lost my job at the time, because I was in the travel industry, and the travel industry was completely fucked. So I had no job. I had, we just met up with Paul, and he says, listen, the second lockdown is coming as well. And then why are you, sitting here in London again? Why don't you just get on a plane, go to Nicaragua, spend, 3 to 6 months, learn a bit of tobacco, learn a bit of Spanish. And then when you come back after the whole mess, and then, you might just land a job in the cigar industry here in London. So I was like, dude, going to Nicaragua on my own, I was like, fuck, that's a bit crazy. But I kind of slept on it, woke up the next day, and I'm like, bro, I've literally got nothing to lose. I've just gone through divorce. I've lost the job. I've got no kids. I'm like, dude, and I love tobacco so much. This is like, the perfect opportunity. Why not? Fuck it. Yeah. And that's all she wrote. So I packed the bags, and then within a week, I was gone.
Okay. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering this, because I always wondered this, because me and my brother talk about this a lot. We like to hear the cigar scenes in different cities. Well, this would be the first one in a different country. How is the cigar scene in London? Because it seems like like you guys are, like in London, it's more sophisticated, like, you know, like professional, like you got suits and you're drinking coffee and you curse.
I mean, it's very, very expensive to smoke there to start with. I mean, the basic cigar, I mean, take Alec Bradley Black Market. Mm-hmm. I mean, it starts from £15 anyway in the shop or in the lounge. I mean, culture-wise, yes, people wear the suits, but I mean, it's kind of changing a lot. The scene is changing. Is you know, the younger people smoking it, and it's a bit more vibrant, and yeah, but there is still that, you know, traditional kind of cigar smoking and really expensive places, and people dress up to go out. But I mean, they dress up anyway, you know. But you know, it's different nowadays, and obviously the UK scene is very Cuban dominated, or it was. Now it's really, really shifting into kind of new world cigars, and people tend to try new stuff, and not only that, Cubans are just becoming too expensive for some to smoke, and you know, availability is just not there, and the quality in general, the construction quality, you know, you pay 30, 40, 50 pounds for your cigar, and it's, you know, if it's plugged,
I heard that.
It's not great.
Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot.
So now I'm wondering, as far as the process, how involved do you get with the process of making your cigars? Because like I see that it says, you know, your cigars are pretty much direct ship.
Yeah. Like, so the whole everyday cigar days, you know, direct to consumer model we're running, because obviously we live here in Nicaragua. We're at the source, and you know, the whole story then kind of follow up from that. When I came to Nicaragua, when I came back, you know, it was a terrible time to come here because of the hurricane season and terrible hurricanes that they had. You know, the growing season didn't start, because normally it starts in November time. But November time, beginning of November, I came to Nicaragua, and they had a huge hurricane here. You know, there's quite a few people died, and obviously that delayed the whole tobacco growing season. So when I came here, I was like, bro, I just want to get into any factory, you know. And from on the first trip, obviously we made few contacts, but you know, I've gone through all of them, and you know, everyone's like, oh man, I can't do this week. I can't do this week. You know, the whole hurricane thing, everything's just fucked up. You know, let's do it next week. And every factory I was approaching, everyone's just like next week. So I was here like for 2 months straight, literally. I've not even seen inside of the factory. That's how bad it was. So I was in a bit of a, you know, panic mode. So then Roy actually came to visit, you know, the managing director from Davidoff UK. He came Christmas time to pay us a visit, and then he introduced me to one of the factory owners, to the factory that I'm based at now. His name is Ronnie Aragon. And yeah, he introduced us, and then, you know, Ronnie just I told him, I said, listen, I'll come into the factory and do whatever you want me to do. You know, I've just been saying, you know, you want me to plate the food during lunch for the staff, I'll do it. You want me to sweep the floor, I'll do it, bro. As long as I get access to the factory and I can see what's happening from the inside, man, I'm ready to do anything. And yeah, I mean, he just looked at me and says, brother, you want to come to factory? Come anytime. And that's it. That's all she wrote. I mean, from there on, you know, I was spending in the factory, you know, 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day. Then ended up being, you know, from the time the factory opens, I was there until the factory shuts. And, you know, the first year, it was the first time he was actually growing his own tobacco in Condega as well. So, look, at that time, he moved to new premises. He moved to the bigger factory, and he kind of needed a hand with everything. And, you know, essentially, I was the only one speaking English in the factory. So while the factory was expanding, needed new clients. And just needed a hand in general, you know. So it was kind of perfect timing for both of us, because kind of he saw the value that I can bring in with my, you know, customer service experience and speaking English and being able to kind of communicate with the outside world. And he just took me under his wing, and he had what I needed and I had what he needed. So it just kind of worked out really, really good for both of us. And that's it. So from there on, just kind of started working with him, you know, helping out with sales and communication and all the bits and pieces with it. So it was just amazing timing.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you ever got into, while you was there, have you got into like the rolling and the bunching of the cigars? Or
oh yeah, I mean, I've done, you can imagine that by now I've done every single manual piece of work that's involved in tobacco or cigar making. As I live here, obviously I've spent so much time in a factory that you know, I've tried every single. I'm not saying I'm good at all of it. Yeah. Some things are best left to the professionals. I mean, especially the rolling. I mean, I've tried rolling, and it's so difficult. It takes a lot of practice, but you know, combined with all the other responsibilities I had, I didn't have enough time to set aside just to learn the rolling. But that's something definitely on my radar. I'll definitely learn it, because it's pretty cool skill to have.
It's one of those things where it's like it's more easier said than done.
Yeah, exactly.
When it comes to it.
Yeah, but in general, I mean, if you think of running a cigar factory, I mean, there's so many elements to it that is just mind-boggling. I mean, I would, to this day, I still have not got the urge to have my own factory, man. When you see it from the inside and what goes into it, and if you also grow your own tobacco, my God, it never stops, you know. And in here, and it's the buying the tobacco and the growing the tobacco and managing the people within the factory is crazy, absolutely crazy.
I would imagine that. I imagine with the brand, if you got the brand, you're just worried about your brand and the people that's dealing with your brand. But if you own a factory, now you got to worry about everything that's going on. Plus, if you other people to worry about their brands and your brand.
And generally, I mean, the factory, the Tabacalera Aragon, now that obviously I have, with my business partner, we have our own brand. But aside from that, I still obviously work with the factory, and I still help them out with everything within the factory. So, yeah. And, you know, I also have clients that the cigars, you know, are made in the factory, you know, so these are the ones I brought into the factory. So still, I generally look after them. So yeah, it's a lot of work.
I bet. So have you found yourself spending, like, I know you had to try a bunch of cigars to get into it. But have you found yourself like spending time in different cigar lounges as well?
In the lounges, obviously, because I permanently live in Nicaragua and there's no cigar lounges in Nicaragua, but I have been to the US because, as I said, we've done a project for Union League of Philadelphia. So again, to follow up on the story, so once I got in, obviously start working with the factory. This is when my business partner, Paul, actually came to see me in Nicaragua. Mm-hmm. So he came back to see me. And then this is where obviously that project for the Union League came about, because it was through his friend that he knows at that club. Paul said, listen, I've got Union League of Philadelphia. They want to make a special anniversary cigar. And I said, brilliant. I mean, let's do it. But when Paul arrived to Nicaragua, he actually caught COVID. And that, obviously, there was a twist a big twist in the whole everyday story, because when he caught COVID, it actually developed in a double pneumonia, and he nearly died here in Nicaragua. So I mean, we again, it's a humongous story where I had to actually break him out from the hospital here in Esteli and take him to military hospital in Managua, in the capital here, and then from there we had to take him out of the hospital too.
Hold on. You're not gonna skip that story. You took him out the hospital. Hold on, you're not gonna skip that story. How did you break him out of the hospital? I gotta hear this.
So anyway, so Paul comes to Esteli, and then we all go out. There's a famous bar here in Esteli called Famous, and obviously the COVID was rife. It was just the peak of it, and then we all kind of caught it, but Paul had it the worst. And I don't know, it was just the beginning. I don't know really all the hospitals here, and then we asked for recommendations. They said take him to local hospital here. So I got him to hospital, because by that time he was already coughing up the blood, so it was really bad. So I took him to hospital. I walk him over there, and they say, listen, you can't go in there, your friend needs to go on his own. And I'm like, well, what can he do? I mean, Paul is like, well, I'm going to go. I'll call you from there. I'll let you know how it goes. And then, so they put him in this hospital bed. I mean, it's a massive, massive room full of people. Hospitals here in Esteli, you can imagine it's just few walls, tin roof. There's no ACs. There's no, medical care is not, you can imagine, is not the greatest. And then, the following day, Paul texted me and he says, dude, there's 3 people died in my room just here. And he's like, I feel like I'm not going to make it. Dude, he says, I'm so hot. They wouldn't give me water. They all seem to laugh at me. They don't seem to give the care that he needs, And then he sends me a selfie of himself. He says, dude, I'm really bad. And then as soon as I saw that selfie, I'm like, dude, this guy is... If I'm not going to get him out from that hospital, he's literally going to fucking die. He looked so bad. So anyway, I called him and I said, listen, Paul, I'm going to get you out, but obviously we need to take you to Managua. There is a military hospital. This is where all the politicians and all the high people of Nicaragua are being looked after. And I said, we're going to take you there. But he says, dude, I can't travel without oxygen. If I take off the mask, dude, I think I'm like gasp for air. I can't do without the oxygen. So the first mission was finding the oxygen. And in the peak of it, I mean, I went through every single pharmacy here, every single possible place where they could have oxygen. And they're like, bro, you're looking for impossible. You can't get it. I mean, so Paul was trying also to arrange a medevac from the U.S. insurance, but obviously U.S. insurance, they were struggling to communicate with the people here. The ambulances were simply not available because everyone was using them. He tried all sorts of things and just nothing worked. So I said, dude, I've managed to find oxygen in the shop that was already closing. So I begged for these tanks. So they've sold me 2 massive tanks of oxygen. I got one of our taxi drivers, to get the oxygen. I turned up at the hospital, and obviously in the hospital, everyone's just like, you can't go here, you can't go here. And I just like, dude, get the fuck out of my face, bro. Before I'm looking for my friend. He's coming out now. And dude, the security guys with the guns, they're fucking running around screaming at me. And I'm just looking for Paul. I have no idea where he is. So I managed to find him. I found the doctor and I just said, listen, wheel him out. He's leaving the hospital now. I want all the paperwork, whatever medication you've given him, all the records, whatever you've done to him. I need it. And he's leaving right now. And he's like, okay, they've gone in. They just pulled the mask off. I said, where's the paperwork? There isn't any. He says, just take your friend and leave. So I literally broke him from the hospital, put him in a car, got him on the oxygen, and then we went off. So we get to Managua. and we're going to this hospital, military hospital, and we had a friend living. She's a how should I say describe Vinny? Vinny is a girl with balls. Okay. So she says, listen, until I come to hospital, don't give him to any doctors. And I'm like, but why? I mean, the guy is like needs medical attention now. And she says, listen, don't do it until I get there. So she turns up and she's like, he is my husband. So anything you do to him, everything goes through me. Before you give him any medicine, give him any scans, give him anything, everything goes through me because he's my husband. Mm-hmm. So this girl gets everything done. We get him all checked up. And then, he kind of starts feeling a bit better and we're all, a bit relieved. And I'm like, you know what, I'm probably gonna go home soon. And Vinny's like, Andreas, you're not leaving anywhere. You're not going anywhere because these guys, they're trying to put him in the in the special care unit, and they said he can't have a phone. And we're like, what do you mean he can't have a phone? So are you taking him away, and he's got no communication channels with anyone? Yeah, well, that's the hospital rules. And Vinny's like, no. And they said they also tried to get it to sign, if he gets any worse, to put him on the ventilator. And that time, if you put someone on the ventilator, that's it. You're done. So Vinny's like, fuck this shit. We're taking him out of this hospital, and we're going to set up a hospital in the hotel, and we're going to bring him back to life ourselves. And I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I've gone through all this shit, and we're starting fucking everything from scratch again.
I don't know if maybe just because I'm like picturing you from London, because like I can even hear the accent, like the London accent. As you're telling that story, I'm seeing a Mission Impossible plot forming in my head as this story is going along. I'm like, he needs to put this on screen. Like that would definitely sell.
I'm telling you, anyone that hears the whole fucking Nicaraguan story of every day and how everything came about and is like, dude, it's enough to write a movie script or a book or, but for us, it's just like we lived it. It's not that surreal, but when you tell it to someone, everyone is just like, Jesus Christ. So anyway, so obviously we kind of, we scrambled up. We've hired a doctor. We've hired 24/7 nurses. I don't know where Vinny got them all from. And we bought the tanks. We literally set up a hospital bed in a hotel. And yeah, it took us probably close to 2 weeks to nurse him back to life. So this is where the guy had the near-death experience, so that obviously me breaking him out of the hospital and all that happening obviously brought us very, very close. And then obviously we've done the project for the Union League of Philadelphia, and Union League wanted us to come to the launch event and present the cigar. So I flew to America. I've spent a couple of weeks there, and towards the end of my trip, we were in Paul's apartment in Florida, and we were, just smoking cigars, talking cigars, and I just told him, I said, listen, I mean, I still have the dream of opening an online store in the US, obviously because I'm not based in there. But, US is the main market. And then, I still want to make the cigars and sell them in the US. But essentially, because I am not a US citizen, I need someone in the US.
Yeah, because I was going to ask if you were planning on like maybe collabing with other clubs or something like that, or lounges in the US.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the factory. That's what we do, and then we've got we've got some more plans to do projects through every day, and so there's a lot of things in the making, and obviously our core line is just we started off with the core line, but obviously we've got bigger plans to work on and kind of more premium cigars to come out with. So this is all just the kind of beginning,
Mm-hmm.
So there it was. So there's, we sat down, we talked about it, and this is how basically, that's how Everyday Cigar Day was born, really, from there. Because he says, look, I'm happy to get involved. I love tobacco. I want to help you out. And he wanted to get in the tobacco, and wasn't just quite sure how. And then, he loved the idea, and that's how we started off. And then, from that inception, it took us probably, 6-7 months to set up the whole operation, and then we kicked off.
Okay. So, how many cigars do you have in your in the lineup?
So the core line consists of 4 blends. So you got Connecticut, Habano, Maduro, and then a Barber Pole. While they being kind of similar blends, they're not the same blends. Obviously, they also got different wrappers. So this is our core line, the 4 blends, and then they all come in 7 different sizes too.
And I'm seeing you guys. Do you use different tobaccos? So I know you got the Nicaraguan, obviously.
Yeah.
But is that the only tobacco you use in your cigars?
No. I mean, obviously, as a factory, we do use tobaccos from mainly fillers. Majority of the fillers do come from Nicaragua, and then obviously we use Indonesian predominantly as a binder, and then obviously the wrappers come from Ecuador. So Connecticut is actually Ecuadorian Connecticut. Habano is Ecuadorian Habano. Then the Maduro, that's the Mexican San Andres. And then the Barber Pole comes as a kind of Habano mix.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna definitely have to try some of those.
So let me ask you a question. All right, so you do all this work, you get your first cigar out, right?
Yep.
What was that moment like? You achieved it. You did exactly what you said you were gonna do. You got it in your hands. You're like, I've done it. This is it. I've achieved this. What was that moment like for you?
Man, it's immense. I mean, I'm still so. I gotta pinch myself sometimes, that where I've gone, from where I've started with the cigars and where I am now, and now living permanently in Nicaragua is incredible. But it's nowhere feels that anything's been great. Anything great has been achieved just yet. This is just the really, really beginning of it, and we understand that we are young kids on a block. We're starting off. There's a lot more work to be done and learned, and it feels amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the whole unique kind of business setup and building up our own brand and just working the tobacco, to be honest, is incredible.
Okay. So what is your favorite beverage to pair with your cigars?
Obviously they do have wonderful rum here, Florida Caña. If you ever tried it.
Yeah, I had a couple times. I might have partaked in it.
Yeah, you gotta try it. It's really, really awesome Nicaraguan rum. But I generally, day to day, I love it with the coffee, and Nicaraguan coffee, and especially from Matagalpa region is really awesome. It's really beautiful. I love my cigar with the coffee, and every morning, that's the first thing I do. That's my breakfast. I normally have my everyday cigar de Connecticut and a coffee.
Okay.
Now, I have to ask: Do you have one out of your line that you always suggest to everybody? Like, I mean, I know you like them all, you made them all, but do you have one that's just like your absolute favorite?
Connecticut's got to be. I've got, and I mean to prove it, I've got a guy and he bought another box, and that's been his 14th box. There's one guy from our store that is absolutely hooked on these things. You know, it's something about the Connecticut, and I've never been a big fan of Connecticut, but bro, from that cigar there's something about it that you gotta try.
Okay. So in this whole, like, in this industry, I know you bump into a lot of people. Who have you bumped into in the cigar industry? You was like, oh shit, I can't believe I'm talking to this person. So
for me, I mean, the biggest inspiration behind my journey too it was definitely Nestor Plasencia Jr. You know, from meeting him first time. I actually met him first time in London. That was a first introduction because he was visiting, presenting his cigars at the time. So this is where I met him first time. Then on the first trip to Nicaragua, obviously we spent a full day with him, and then obviously I do meet him here time to time because his house is actually very, very close to mine. So he's been the biggest inspiration, you know, the way he conducts himself, the way he does business, the way, you know, he sees the tobacco, the way they process the tobacco. I mean, everything about it is incredible. But, you know, when you're in Esteli, I mean, you do get to meet, I met Steve Saka. I've been lucky enough to spend quite a bit of time with, Luciano from Luciano Cigars, also Skip Martin from Roma Craft, you know, to name a few, but you know.
You got some heavy hitters out there. Talking to some heavy hitters.
Yeah.
So what? So like I have another question for you real quick. So is there anywhere that you've been in the UK and it just surprises you that cigars are as big as they are there? Or even in Nicaragua, like just a place that you wouldn't think of?
Well, you'll be surprised. I mean, for instance, like in Nicaragua, that's another thing. I mean, if you ever think of coming here, it's even though they produce so many cigars, you can't just really go out there and just buy them. There's no cigar shops as such. There's a cafe here in Esteli that sells some Joya de Nicaragua cigars, but you just can't buy cigars. So unless you come here and you know someone within the factories, and they'll, you know, some of them, majority can't even sell cigars to you, to be honest, because what they work with is something called free trade agreement.
All right.
Which is basically all of their cigars are for the export, so not to be sold in the internal market, and that's why people generally just don't sell them. But the other reason is, to be honest, in Nicaragua, look, for the local population, cigars are just too expensive to smoke. And for those who can afford to smoke them, I mean, they don't really need to buy them because they probably own a factory. And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Okay.
That is interesting. I don't say I never would have guessed that. Like I would have thought, oh yeah, you know, they have a huge smoking scene out there.
Man,
like everybody's just walking around.
I arrived for the first few weeks. I was struggling to find cigars. Literally, you can go. There's some, you know, little corner shops. They will kind of sell cigars from under the table, but they're just not great quality. There's some dodgy ass brands that you never heard of, and probably someone just rolled them at the back of their room, and it just, yeah, it's not that kind of gig. When you come here, you need to know people.
Roll in the back of the room. That's wild.
But now with that going on, can they import cigars? Like, I know they can't sell their own, but can they import them?
Even bringing the stuff in is not easy. I mean, my business partner does it all the time because he just needs he likes the variety and he likes to smoke different stuff. So you always, but the kind of very illegal ways, it's very difficult.
Okay.
In general, to ship anything out or to bring in.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I never guessed it. I think everybody was smoking a cigar down there, or at least rolling their own ones. Just sometimes I thought that's what I thought. That's what I at least think. All right, so what is your vision? Like, where do you plan on having your business going in about, let's say, 5 years?
So the plan is, obviously we started off with a core line and what we're gonna call it a white line. Obviously the other thing we're gonna do a bit different now, because if you've obviously you received the product, if you've seen obviously the logo was printed on the actual cellophane. Mm-hmm. The cigar bands were not ruled out because of the cost. It's just we kind of wanted to do it a bit differently, and obviously it's an everyday cigar. It's an easy smoke, affordable smoke, and we got so used to smoking cigars without bands here that we thought maybe this is something would be great to present it in that manner too, but. What it proved to be is having no band is not very great for social media, because everyone just wants to show off what they smoke. They always take the pictures of the bands and the logo being just on a cellophane. Then they kind of hold the cellophane and the cigar at the same time. And it's just kind of, it did prove a bit awkward. So what we're going to do is the next batch that we're going to release, I've just received the cigar bands yesterday, actually. They've already been delivered to the factory. So the next batch of our cigars will come with the bands. And it's gonna have a kind of theme of our boxes and the paper the sampler came in. So that's gonna be a white line. So that's gonna be our core line. So obviously these are going to be an everyday smokes, and then we've got a plan for the silver line. Silver line is going to be a kind of a special project or like a factory overruns, because what you need to understand is that in the factory, in the manufacturing, there's always when someone orders the cigars or there is a project, for instance, like Union League of Philadelphia, they would normally roll more cigars than have been ordered because, while aging, while storing, while handling, a lot of them, and get moved around, and some of them crack, some of them, there's always damage. So you need to roll more cigars than you actually need. And so there's always leftover in the factory. Or sometimes there are projects that, they've been rolled for someone, but whatever happened, sometimes it doesn't reach the actual a person who ordered them, or the projects fall through and kind of cigars stay behind, and sometimes you got cigars 3, 4, 5 years in the storage just sitting there waiting for someone to take them.
Yeah.
So this would be then, and these kind of obviously they would come in limited numbers. We would take them on, put the silver bands on, and that's going to be our silver line. And then afterwards, we're also going to have a gold line. And the gold line is going to be our collaborations, because we do obviously know quite a few people in the industry and also in different countries. We know a few very famous cigar blenders. So we're going to do a collaborations as such, where they're going to make the cigars for us. Again, that's probably coming in kind of a limited edition. And that's going to be a gold line.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be nice to see.
No,
So, once we have the ball rolling, because obviously all that is already in plans and we already have blends in mind. But we're now that the shop has been launched, we start selling cigars. So we just need to get the kind of ball rolling. We need to get people behind the brand, obviously to understand the kind of direct to consumer concept, because I get to realize now that it's not a very common business model. Everyone's a bit still reluctant, and they're not entirely sure because in the US, as you know, everything goes through cigar lounges, the shops. So when someone comes across, direct to consumer, I mean, what is it? I'm not entirely sure. How does that work? Why the cigars are so cheap?
Yeah,
cigars are not cheap. Our cigars, it's what we just do. And while we and myself and my business partner, we always support, lounges, and is a crucial part of the cigar business. However, we are just offering also an alternative to what you can buy in cigar lounges and the shops. What we do is obviously we make the cigars. We market the cigars ourselves and we sell the cigars ourselves. So that means obviously we shave off quite a bit of markup that you get from wholesalers and the retailers. And all of that saving is passed on to the end user.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's much appreciated.
Especially this.
And as I said, you need the lounges, you need the shop, especially the lounges, and especially in the places like where the weather is colder, where you can't really smoke outside. So you need a place to meet up. You need the place to meet people, and when we travel, we always go to lounges. We always go to the shops, and we spend money. We buy the cigars, and we also love smoking different cigars. It doesn't mean that we make cigars and that's the only cigars we ever smoke. It's not like that.
So, have you ever went to a lounge, or have you ever went somewhere and someone was smoking one of your cigars?
I have. While I was in the US, obviously at that time, we didn't have our own cigars just yet. So I've not smoked it with someone in the lounge with someone, but I'm sure I will. There's definitely trips will be coming up at some point to the US. Way on.
I mean, you wind up back in Philly. I'm only about 2 hours from Philly.
Yeah, I loved Philly, man. Philly is amazing. We've been a few times to Holt's because that's my business partner's favorite lounge.
What the hell? They got Cigar. Cigar's not there. Cigar's about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive from that Cigars International. Yeah, I love Philly. I love PA. Actually, PA as a state is a great smoking state. Like I used to.
We also actually sat in what was that lounge called? The Ashton Lounge.
Oh, okay.
That was pretty cool too.
Okay. Actually got some nice. Who else got some? Rocky Patel got some good lounges. Rocky lounges are really good too.
Oh yeah. I've seen them on the social media. Yeah, what were they called? Burn, right?
Yeah, Burn, good. Of course, Davidoff. Of course, Davidoff is fucking top level shit.
Oh, definitely. I mean, whenever we go back, there's always a visit to lounges. But again, because we are obviously direct to consumer model, so you probably won't see our cigars on shop shelves. Because of the way our pricing structure, the way it's set up, it's not designed to be for resale because it's just not marked up enough. So we will.
What if you go into the lounge and the guy's like, "Yo, I really want you guys cigars here." Is there a way you can work that out?
I don't think it's just gonna make a financial sense for either of us. So the core line definitely will probably stay and will be always direct to consumer. Are we going to change it in the future in any shape or form? I don't know. We shall live and see.
Yes, we shall. We shall definitely see that.
You know,
yeah, I'm here for that journey.
We are literally at the beginning of our journey, and you know, it's been exciting so far and interesting, and you know, able to offer something different is great, and people do appreciate it. And you know, whoever buys the cigars, whoever comes and tries the sampler first, and then they come back for a bigger box, you know, and then like it's just amazing.
I'll definitely be back for more. So let me ask you a question. If you could talk to anybody who's trying to get into the business, trying to make their own cigar, what advice would you give them?
Oh dear. First and foremost, travel to the source.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely number one priority for anyone, because you know, only what you see and what you hear from the social media, from everything else is not. It's not what it actually is. You need to, and every client that I have, and anyone that's getting into it, I always say the first thing you need to do, just come to Nicaragua. I'll show you around. I'll show you what it's like. You need to understand what's involved in the whole process, and you need to understand the local culture because it's very, very different. And so you have understanding what really goes into making the actual product. Mm-hmm. That way you'll be better off selling it.
Yeah, of course.
And not only that way you also manage, you know, kind of their expectations. So it's because culture, don't forget, you know, like culture in the US, culture in the UK, you know, everything goes fast, you know, everything's possible. Everything's, you know, everyone's on the ball. In here, it's not like that. Just making anything, getting your boxes done, for instance, for your cigars is it can be such a painful process. Everyone's struggling with it. People are not making enough boxes. It's always, you know, you need to make the connections with the people that make the actual boxes for them to move a bit faster, and you know, to make sure they deliver the product that you expect. And it's just so different. You know, you can't rush things here. If you try to rush it, you make it worse. Mm. There is a culture of tomorrow. Everything's here is mañana.
Yeah, okay. So it's a lot about your connections out there when you're out in Nicaragua.
Definitely. And another thing, obviously, it depends. Don't forget, obviously, there are 65 factories here in Esteli alone. So, you know, there's a lot of choices where you can make your cigar. And anyone I speak to, and I said, look, it's also each factory makes their own kind of distinct tastes of the cigars as well. So, you know, cigars that we make might not just fit your brand, or, you know, there's the way we do things might not fit your brand, and there's no problem. You know, there's also more choice. But if you go with me, what you do get is all the inside knowledge. I speak English. I live here. You know, so you get all these extra benefits that I will help you to come your brand come to a fruition. You know.
Mm-hmm. Now you did say it's slower. Would you know in the isle, anywhere in like the area with the islands, it always moves slower than how it would move like in the city. Like I'm from Chicago. Chicago is fast. I went down to St. Croix, and St. Croix is more relaxed, more laid back. You know, like you said, you know, done. It'll get done.
Yeah, right. You can imagine. I mean, for the first couple of years, I've been struggling with the pace. Obviously, me not speaking the Spanish. I mean, I do get by now. It's not perfect by no means, but I do get by. And first, you know, coming from London, coming from that 5-star hotel, you know, corporate mentality where everything's just like, you know, bam, bam, bam. You gotta get it done, get it this, that. There's no sitting around in here, man. First 2 years, I was like, bro, It is a struggle. So I had to kind of pace myself down too, kind of to understand.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
About the adjustment. I know the adjustment. Now, how long? Now, you said it took you the first 2 years. Are you still probably not adjusted yet, though, are you?
Sorry?
I mean, you said the first 2 years, you probably still not fully adjusted. You probably still just, every once in a while, you be like, oh, I got to slow down. I got to slow down.
Yeah. No, I mean, the factory owner, Ronnie, was always telling me from day one, he used to just pull me outside and he's like, bro, you gotta relax, man. You gotta calm down. You gotta just things are different here. I'm telling you, just listen to me, he says, and you'll be absolutely fine. But I had to learn a lot of things the hard way because of my, I'm kind of guy that I'll just go for it. I'll just go and do it. But and he's always goes back and he's like, I told you so. I told you so, bro.
Yeah.
But hey, it's part of the process, part of the learning process, and I'm happy I've done it. In any case,
it seems like you doing good, man. You doing your thing over there, man. You doing your thing. I tell people that a lot. Like a lot of people, like I want to do this. I want to go here. I want to go here. Go. You never want to be like you get older. You're like, damn, I should have did. Just go do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the living example of, there's so many, I mean, our story resonates with quite a few because there's so many people out there sitting and thinking, oh, I would love to do something, with a cigar or get into the industry. And, bro, I'm not, I am Lithuanian. I'm probably the only Lithuanian out there involved in the tobacco industry. I've never met one yet. And, I lived in London and all I had was a dream, and all I did was just chase it, go for it, risk it. I mean, it's possible, it's doable, but all you got to do, you got to get up and go for it.
Okay. All right, well, we've got to go on ahead and get up out of here. Before we go, though, B1, you got any question? Oh,
no.
Okay, so tell the people where they can get in contact with you and how to get your cigar.
So all of our cigars available for and only. I don't know whose microphone is playing up a bit.
You got it now.
Yeah, so all the cigars and they're available only through everydaycigarday.com. Obviously, if you want to get in touch, you can either do it through the website. There's a chat box that I always answer those, and I'm always there to answer any questions you have about the brand, the cigars. And yeah, what we do have is a little sampler pack of 4 cigars. So before you get into, buying the boxes, you can always just try them out. And if you like them, feel free to buy more. If not, try something else.
I like those Maduros. I'm a Maduro dude. I definitely get those Maduros. I really like the Maduros. Those. I like these Barpo too, but I'm just, I don't know, man. I smoke Connecticut. I smoke, I smoke the Habano. I like the Habano, but Maduro is that's just.
It's got an extra kick to it.
Yeah, I enjoy the Maduros. But yeah, it has been great talking to you. I appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. If y'all out there,
it's been an absolute pleasure.
Get y'all a pack every day. So get the pack, man. What y'all doing out there?
It's only $25 for 4, and then you get a free delivery with that as well. So taste it, share it, smoke it. If you like it, spread the word. You're supporting a bigger project. Obviously, we've got a lot of things lined up, and we'll come out with them gradually as we grow, and then be part of this unique story.
Yeah, you can't. It's a great story. You can't beat that. All right, but as always, I am your local hero. This is CLP, reminding you, blow your smoke like a goddamn gentleman. And we out.
Thanks, guys.